Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am continuing on with my waterfall journal. Now I made this using bags and I'll put a link in the description box that shows how I made it. I have gone ahead and finished all of the bits and pieces to go in it, so I've got tags in all of the pockets. And they're all backed with coffee dyed lace cardstock, so they're nice and sturdy. So now I'm going to do a closure. So for the closure I'm going to use a whale tail and I'm going to attach that on there. So let's do that. I have cut it using my punch and I have inked around it. I'm going to try and line it up best I can with the one next to it there, so about there. Finish that down. Now I'm going to put an eyelet in it. I'm going to use a gold eyelet. And my crocodile. So let's put it in about the middle. Okay, now put the eyelet in it. Now that one's a little bit bigger. Just have to make that hole a little bit bigger. Not much, but just that little bit. Right. There we go. Right. So now I have got some soft pink silk chiffon ribbon there that I thought I might use to tie this closed. Got that bit right there. I'm going to cut that off. Now, if I thread that through there and feed that, I have to cut that off, don't I? So let's wrap this around, a bit extra. So I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to thread those through that. Put that nice and firm, and then I can wrap this around and tie that off like that. You can tie that tighter if you want to. Now I'm going to add some beads to this, and I'm not sure whether I want to do that on camera or whether I want to do that off camera. Okay, yeah, so I will also do some decorating in here, just a bit, not too much. You can see there's already enough bulk there, but some of these pages I might just put a little something on them, just to, you know, maybe just a label and a floral or something like that, just to give them a little bit of something. So I need to go and find something to use for that, so I'll do that and I'll be back. Now, I have got a heap of die cuts here. I don't know whether you can see them all, but there's heaps of them, and they've been sitting in a box up there for so long, and I decided that I need to try and use them up. So I'm going to use, I've got bundled sage and peeled paint, and I'm just going to colour some of the greenery on them to start with. I'll just spray a little. So I'm just going to dip them in the lighter colour, then the darker colour, just to try and get a bit of variation in the colour, and pop them up there. Now I will put some other colour on the floral, like the flower section of them, so I'm going to try and stay away from that part, but if I get some on there, I get some on there. I'm not too fussed. So yeah, this I've got heaps of these dies that make these fine floral die cuts, and I very rarely get them out. So I did have a day where I did a whole heap of die cutting, which you can see here, and I put them in a box up there thinking that as I need them, well, they're very handy. Yeah, okay, they're in a box. Do you see them? No. Do you use them? No. So today's the day. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this for quite a few. I'll probably do more than I need, but while I've got the paint out, I may as well, eh? There's a daffodil. Try and keep the flower part of it out of the paint. Uh-oh. Maybe it's going to be a green daffodil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the stems, and then when I've done that, I'll come back and we'll do some of the floral bits. Okay, so I've done that. Now the leaves are dry. I'm going to do some flowers, and I'm going to do them in pink. Can't really see that on there, can you? So that's Tattered Rose Oxide, and this one's Crackling Campfire Oxide. Campfire, I mean. A bit of water on those two. And let's put some colour on our florals. I'm certainly going to get a lot of colour variation on these. Some of these are cut in paper, and that is not very successful when you're dipping them in water like this. So I would suggest that if you're going to do this sort of thing to colour your die cuts, well, you need to cut them in like a cardstock. You could also use a brush to colour these instead of just dipping them in. Let me clear that up. I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow on here. This one's fossilised amber. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow here and there, just for a variation on those flower colours. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this aside to dry. When they're dry, I'll come back and we'll start doing some decorating. Not sure what colour this one is, but it's dried marigold. Got a butterfly there, let's get a bit of yellow on that. This one is the crackling campfire. And I've got a couple of banners here that I'm going to. Okay, and a little tiny butterfly here. So I'm going to go through that pile of flowers that I've die cut, and I'm going to throw out all the ones that are just paper because they don't work very well, and I'm going to cut out any in future in cardstock. Alright, I'll let that dry and I'll be back. Okay, so while I'm waiting for those to dry, I have done this beading on this set of binding cords. Now I'm going to do this one. I didn't think you needed to watch me do both. I'm threading both pieces of binding cord through. You could just do one if you wanted to, and in places it is a bit tricky to get two through. The butterflies, the little butterflies, are the hardest. So if you wanted to just do one and cut the other off, you could. But I thought for safety and for sturdiness, I would do both. So I'm just going to do the same pattern. And I'm sure you all know how to make these, but I just thought I'd do one on camera. Didn't think you needed to watch me do two. So how is everybody? I'll have a bit of a chat while I'm doing this because it's a bit boring to watch, especially when you're trying to thread two pieces through a small hole. Some of these, they're all, well no, these green blue ones are glass. I'm not sure about those. I wouldn't stake my life on it, but I think they are. Now with these, they've only got a very fine hole, and I found that with the other one I had to put one thread through, then hold that out of the way and put the other thread through, and it would go. Sometimes it would take me a minute, like it's going to do this time. Of course, because I have got the camera turned on, none of them will go on properly. So I'm just doing a repeat pattern of the pink, then one of these little diamante fillers. I got these from Temu, these little diamante ring ones. I can't remember where I got the others, but I would either be Papercraft or Temu. Or I did buy some beads from Spotlight, which is like a handicraft, a homewares shop here in Australia. But which ones I'm using here and where I got them from, I've got no idea. The only ones I remember are these, because I only got them not long ago. If you've got a good supply of beads, perhaps you could leave me a message in the comment where to get them from, because I don't know, every time I go to do some beading I've never got the actual beads that I want. The other thing too is if you're using something like a butterfly, when you do put it on, probably a good idea to make sure you've got it flying in the right direction. I did put one on upside down and have to go back and take it off. If the holes in the beads were a lot smaller that I was using, I wouldn't be using the double thread, I'd be cutting one off. Well, it depends where you bind your book with, doesn't it? I mean, if you've got a binding material that's thicker than this, you might want to use one bigger beads or one thread only. These containers that I'm keeping my beads in, I got them at Kmart here in Australia. They were pretty reasonably priced, I thought. I can't remember what I paid for them, but I remember thinking they were a good deal at the time. I've got quite a few of them. Try and keep my colours separated. Even these glass, these are definitely glass too. Oh, these are the ones I was talking about before. I'm pretty sure I got them from Temu. I'm not going to make these both the same size. I'm going to make one longer than the other. Ooh. Got them both through at once that time. Oh, no, I never. I thought it was too good to be true. There we go. How are we going? They're about the same size, so I'm going to do another set of colours. One more butterfly. More pink. And the end cap. And then tie it off. I'm I'm just going to tie a double knot and try and make sure that I get it as close as possible to that. Last end cap. You can see I haven't been that successful there, but I'm going to tie another knot and hopefully I'll get that down in there. I don't really know how you're supposed to finish these off. I'm not a jewellery person, and this is about my limit with beads. Okay, so now I'm going to cut those off. And there we have some little bead dangles. So this will go around here. This will tie on here. And we'll have our little dangles there. Very good. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off now until those other pieces are dry, and when they are I'll come back and we'll finish this off. Okay, so all my bits and pieces are dry now. Some of them are too apricot for this paper, so I won't be using them in there. Some of them I might be able to get away with, that probably blends in okay. And you know, small pieces like this will be fine as well. So I'm going to start, put something nice on our front page, but being so small, we can't really put too much on there. I would like to have a nice focal point. Could pop that up a little bit so it goes over that. And perhaps some greenery to go with it. Like that, and then perhaps a little tag. I've got heaps of tags. I've got some more over here. Let's have a look at these. These are a kit I bought from Paper Inspirations called Lots of Labels, and there's a few ring-ins in here, but there are lots of labels come in the kit. That one's quite nice. A little bit big, so I'll go for this slightly smaller one. Like that. I could stamp something on that. Haven't got my stamps out. And do I want that to be it? I was thinking of putting some lace or something on there. But maybe I could run just a piece of lace down the edge there. Let me get some lace. Okay, I've got a couple of different laces here. I've got this white one, which the white ones blend in fairly well. You can't really see them, but they are there in texture. So that one is a fine, just a bit finer one. I think if I'm going to use a white one, which at this stage I'm thinking I will, I'll use the wider one. And I was thinking that, so I'll run that down there, down the edge. And I've got this really fine braid in a nice olive green that I could run down the edge of that. So it would be on there like that. Or I've got this one that I could also run down the edge, and that one would go like that. So what do you think? The darker green certainly stands out more, doesn't it? Gives a bit more Do I need something to stand out a bit more? I actually prefer this one, so I think I might do this one. Okay, decision made. So let's put this over this. All of these came from my mum, and she's the one that busily put them onto the card strips, which is very fortunate for me. Now, then I will need to cut this off straight to start. And I will run a little bead of glue along here, right to the top and right to the bottom. And attach this. Cut that off a little bit at the top. Then I'm going to cut this and run that from the top to the bottom as well. Okay. Cut that off. Okay. I'm going to let that dry a little. Art glitter glue doesn't usually take that long to grab, but I'm just going to play it a little bit safe because I don't want to be chasing that all over the place. So now I'm going to put my label about there. Let me ink around it first. There. I was going to stamp on that, wasn't I? Do I need to? I don't think I will. By the time I put this on there and the flower on there. Okay, and when I'm finished I will put some glossy accents on the centre of that flower to highlight it a little. Right, I'll leave that out because I'll probably use it again. Right, let's clean a bit of this up. Okay, so let's go up the other way. So I might just stick that in there. So this is die cut out of a book. It was a plant book, and so I get a nice assortment of colours. Okay, now do I want to add something to that or not? Could add something like that, or do I want to just leave it like that and maybe put a little label on it? Where are the small labels? Something a little bit bigger than that, I think. Yep. Now I'm going to just go through this page by page and decorate. Probably not much fun for you to sit there and watch me as I deliberate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this video done for today. I'm going to go through and embellish my pages and my journaling cards, and tags, and then I'll come back with a flip through when it's all done. Okay, well, thank you for joining me today. It's been a bit hit and miss, hasn't it? A bit bits and pieces, but that's what we do, isn't it? We do one thing and then we change our mind and we do another, and so on and so forth. So there we go. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video, which will be a flick through of this when it's finished. Okay, bye.